Introduction. Fraser and Neff Berhad was originally founded as the Singapore and Strait Aerated Water Company by John Fraser and David Chalmers Neff in 1883. By 1930, the company had branches across the peninsula, including Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, Ipoh, Seremban, and Penang. The company has an annual turnover of Rm4 billion and employs over 2,500 people across its operation in Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, and Indochina.
Today I'm going to talk about vertical analysis and statement. The document presents the financial statement for 2020, 2021, and 2022, detailing assets, equity, and liability. The non-current assets include property, plant and equipment, intangible asset, right-of-use asset, investment in subsidiaries, and deferred tax asset. The value of property, plant, and equipment increased from 73 in 2020 to 74% in 2022. Equity, including share capital, retained earnings, and shares owned by SGP Trust, saw a sliding increase from 69.8% in 2020 to 72.8% in 2022. Liabilities were divided into current and non-current categories. Deferred tax liability had a constant increase for 43.6% in 2020 to 38% in 2032, but all non-current liabilities decreased. Loans and borrowing experienced the largest declines, dropping from 12.8% in 2020 to 0.15% in 2021 before increasing to 4.42% in 2022.
Next part I'm going to discuss is about horizontal analysis. Horizontal analysis is also known as the trend that analyzes the time series of the financial report. This is based on balance sheet or even financial position of the company. So this balance sheet will refer to the financial report from the each years. In this case, we are taking from the year 2020 to the year 2022. This is because due to some company factors, the report from the year 2019 was not available. Okay. The formula of horizontal analysis is year over the base year times 100. So from this we are able to get the percentage and also explain the value of the each horizontal expense. Thank you.
Next, I will present about ratio calculation. Ratio calculation divide into four parts, which is liquidity ratio, profitability ratio, leverage ratio, and efficiency ratio. Liquidity ratio is a measure of the ability of a company to pay off its short-term liabilities. For profitability ratio, it helps in determining the financial performance of a business at the end of an accounting period. Leverage ratio defined as set of ratio that highlight a business financial leverage in terms of its assets, liabilities, and equity. Lastly, efficiency ratio is typically used to analyze how well a company uses its assets and liabilities internally. In the next slide, I will present four types of ratio covered from 2020, 2021, and 2022.
So for part ratio interpretation, in the case of Fraser and Neff Limited Company at 2019, the current ratio of 2.09 suggests that the company has $2.09 in current asset for every $1 in current liabilities. Debt to asset ratio 0.23 or 23% of Fraser and Neff Limited total assets are financed by debt. Debt to equity ratio: for every dollar of equity, the company has 31 cents in debt. Debt to capital ratio: 24% of the company's capital structure is comprised of debt. Asset to equity ratio: for every dollar of equity, the company has $1.31 in asset. Next is profitability ratio of 2019 is 7.73, which means that for every $1 in revenue, the company is generating $7.73 in gross profit. The efficiency ratio, on the other hand, is 0.34 for Fraser and Neef Limited in 2020, suggests that the company is using about 34% of its revenue to cover operating expenses. For Fraser and Neef Limited in 2021, with a current ratio of 2.69, it suggests that the company has a strong liquidity position. Debt to asset ratio, on the other hand, for every dollar of asset, Fraser and Neef Limited company has 22 cents in debt. Debt to equity ratio: for every dollar of equity, Fraser and Neef Limited has 28 cents in debt. And debt to capital ratio: total debt represents 22% of the total capital. Asset to equity ratio: for every dollar of equity, Fraser and Neef Limited has $1.28 in asset. Profitability ratio of 6.99 indicate that for every dollar of one in revenue generated, the company can retain approximately $6.99 as gross profit. An efficiency ratio of 0.33 means that for every dollar of revenue, the company incur generating $0.33 in expenses. In 2022, current ratio of 2.67 means that the company has 2.67 times more current asset and current liabilities. Debt to asset ratio: this ratio indicates that 28% of the company total assets are financed by debt. Debt to equity ratio: for every dollar of equity, the company has 40 cents in debt. Debt to capital ratio: 28% of the company's capital structure is comprised of debt. Asset to equity ratio: the company's total assets are 14 times its equity. An efficiency ratio of 0.33 means that for every dollar of revenue generated, the company spent $0.33 on operating expenses. For profitability ratio in 2022, it suggests that for every dollar of revenue, there is a gross profit of $0.2622 or 26.22 cents.
For the recommendations, the financial analysis of Fraser and Neef Holding Berhad (FNHB) indicates a strong financial position with a current ratio of 2.67x and a debt to asset ratio of 0.28x. The company has demonstrated effective cost management and pricing tactics, leading to a gross profit margin of 5.87%. To further improve financial performance, it is recommended that the company maintain its prudent leverage and debt management strategy, streamline its cost structure, and focus on asset utilization. To sum up, FNHB financial performance can help the company enhance its financial position and promote sustainable growth.
Conclusion: Fraser and Neef has demonstrated a strong financial position and consistent growth in various aspects of its business. The vertical analysis of the financial statement from the year 2020 until 2022 shows a consistent increase in the value of assets, equity, and liability. So, investing in the company seems to be advisable as the company has shown consistent growth and expansion over the years.